Hi, this is Laura Mignott from C19 Coalition in this iteration of myself. And I'm super excited to talk to Ian Schafer, who founded Kindred. And we'll be talking about a really special program that we're launching for C19 Coalition as our very first NFT fundraiser. So sit back, relax, and we're going to tell you all about NFTs, why they're awesome, and why we're going to be using this as a really unique way to help bring PPE, vaccinations, and testing to communities of color that need them. So take a listen. Hey, Ian.
Hello, Laura. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So let's just dive right in. What the heck are NFTs? why am I seeing them in the New York Times and Adweek? Like, what is going on? What has happened?
So NFTs by definition are non-fungible tokens, as opposed to fungible tokens, right? So non-fungible
those who don't understand what either one of those is.
Yeah. So non-fungible tokens are basically think about it as virtual currency that's tied to a static value, right? And so like for example, the US dollar, right? And so in the case of, say, something like an NBA TOPSHOT, which we'll talk about, where people are buying the equivalent of cards, like baseball cards, right? The value of those cards might go up and down based upon the supply and demand, but the value of the dollar that it costs to acquire one, from an original press, like in a pack, like you would get at the supermarket, stays the same.
Yeah. Gotcha.
As opposed to a fungible token, where the like Bitcoin, right, where the value is like going all over the place, and no matter, depending on when you buy that piece of currency, is going to dictate how much you pay for it. In case like in the art world, where a lot of the things that are happening in the art world are tied to the price of Ethereum, right? But the artist sets the price for their painting, which makes it a non-fungible token. Okay, gotcha. So that's just how it works, and there are plenty of links for people to read, and I'm sure we'll share what they are if they want to get a real good backgrounder on NFTs. But the fact of the matter is, the reason why they're so hot right now, and will be for the foreseeable future, is because it gives people an opportunity to own a piece of digital something, like a digital asset that is actually tied to scarcity. Because as we think about digital, we think about digital in the context of infinite availability, right? Like you can copy and paste anything
and everywhere, right?
And like you can screenshot things and do all this stuff. But because of technology applied via the blockchain, here's what that's the underlying technology here. Every digital asset in any of these NFT marketplaces have a unique address, so that if you own one of, say, 100 of a piece, it's not just the number that's written on it. Like you can't forge that. There is an actual long multi-digit code serial number that is attached to that particular asset that is stored in a centralized wallet that says that you own that particular asset, in the same way that when you own a particular stock, you can't just screenshot your portfolio to say that you own it.
Right. It's actually open up. Okay, you have serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 004.
Exactly.
And nobody else has 004.
Right.
And
just
so
like I can't pay you with a photo of a dollar bill.
Right.
Right. Every dollar bill has a serial number on it. So this is not it's not like a new concept. It's just new technology that is basically bringing the notion of scarcity to an environment that has previously been all about infinite availability.
Yeah. So you combine the digital side of the universe with everything's you can do whatever you want, to industries like art and moments, which we're going to talk about, and make it so that this is the one thing. The only difference is there's not going to be any sort of fraudulence around it. You can actually verify and be like, this is actually the blockchain number that indicates it's what it is, and it can't be faked.
Yep. So with so in the baseball card world, for example, or if this were autographed, it might come with a certificate of authenticity, right? Which needs to be issued by a source, which also probably has a serial number, so you can verify that against their records. That is basically exactly what's happening here with NFTs and the blockchain.
Awesome. So we were chatting and we started talking about how to do a really awesome fundraiser for C19 Coalition, because we wanted to sort of help out with testing, vaccinations, PPE for communities that need it, especially HBCUs and disproportionately impacted communities. And you had the brilliant but crazy idea of using NBA Top Shots as one of the first fundraisers to use NFTs and NBA Top Shots. So I'd love for you to sort of kind of take us behind the scenes and like what actually is happening and what we've done using NBA Top Shots.
Yeah. So first, a little bit about NBA Top Shot. So NBA Top Shot basically issues moments that they call, which are things that happened in NBA games, right, by individual NBA players, and they're trading card, right, and multiple players have multiple like trading cards and different series and sets, but each one basically is anchored by a video of that particular moment in a game. And so when you buy an NBA Top Shot moment, people mistakenly think you're buying the video. No, you're not buying the video because anyone can watch that video on YouTube or what have you. You are buying the serial number, right, associated with that particular moment. You're basically buying currency. And people buy, sell, and trade this currency in a marketplace. And that is what NBA Top Shot is. So the other interesting thing about NBA Top Shot is that it's a very small, relatively audience that has been participating in up until very recently. So, about a couple of months ago, there were about like 20,000 people. A few weeks later, there were 50,000 people. Then there were 100,000 people. And this morning or this afternoon, when people were buying packs, tied to the All-Star weekend, NBA All-Star weekend, there were about 190,000 people in line waiting to buy those packs. So this is a rapidly growing ecosystem right now. And if you thought it was a game, it's maybe acquiring players very quickly. And it's still in beta technically. So it's not even being that heavily promoted. And it's still primarily in the United States, and the NBA is a global sport. So people have been really rushing into this, hoping that they're getting into something early, right? Especially at a time when physical trading cards are also increasing in value. People are seeing this as, a low cost of entry to something that could potentially be worth a lot of money in a short period of time. But it's also got the passion of the NBA behind it too. And the IP, of course.
And the fervency of NBA fans. And we all know there's that dunk that we all see has been done by our favorite player. There's that 3-point shot. There's that hard foul that we all remember. And so all of those types of moments for some of your favorite players are there. And if they're not there now, give it a couple of months, they will be.
And it's an opportunity to invest in your favorite player in the same way that you would invest in like a share of Tesla.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you want to say, hey, listen, I want to invest in Emmanuel Quickley, or Kevin Durant, or Kyrie Irving, like this is a way to do this. And and I was talking about it. We were like, well, how about this fundraiser situation? Like what's possible?
Yeah, and the reason why that makes sense is because so much of the value that people are realizing in terms of profit, right, from their NBA Top Shot moments is effectively found money. So right now, the dynamics of the marketplace are that you can buy a pack, like a lot of the pack drops are around $9 when they do make packs available. And the average price of an NBA Top Shot moment on the lowest end is about $20. So you think about it, for $9, you're basically buying 60. Okay. So that is, again, found money. And when it comes to fundraising, right, or like donations are really difficult to solicit, and even harder to deposit. So there is a dynamic in Top Shot where you can gift cards to somebody. You can gift moments to somebody. So you go into your portfolio, into a particular moment, and there's a button that says gift this moment. So the thought was like, well, hey, like what if people could, instead of gifting moments to an NBA player who's already very wealthy, why don't we ask them to gift a moment to a cause where the value of that moment could be really put to good use? And in our case, getting like PPE and vaccination distribution to communities who really need it. And so that was where the idea, and especially considering that a lot of the money that's in NBA Top Shot, if you just even look at how much money people have spent acquiring moments, it's clearly not just cash. A lot of it is people who are probably cashing out of their Bitcoin growth and other cryptocurrency
Their
growth.
Dogecoin, their GameStop.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is again, is like, another like state of affairs and inequity in this country, where we're arguing in Congress right now, about like a $15 minimum wage. And there are people who are literally swimming in cryptocurrency profits. So like, where are those going? Where is a place to put that? And this is a theory that says, you know what? Let's put it here, put it to good use, like put those virtual profits to real world use. And because the
right
virtual
away.
currency translate to real world currency, it's like a great opportunity here.
And that's the thing. It's like, I think for lots of folks, again, who've done really well, Bitcoin's over at 52K, I think, this morning. And, if you came in a little bit earlier, it went from 20,000, like maybe 2 months ago, to 52,000. So like the numbers are bananas, or even like Dogecoin, same deal. And so this is a thing that you can do. And so what we're asking for folks is that if you're a member of NBA TOPSHOT, to gift C19 Coalition a moment, so we can have it in our account. And hopefully we will hit $100,000.
Yeah, that's right. So if you go to shotsforshots.org, that's shots, FOR, the word, shotsforshots.org, or the account SHOTSFORSHOTS on NBA TOPSHOT, you will see the moments that we've acquired so far. And please be generous. And even if it's the least valuable moment in your portfolio, like we'll take it.
We'll take it.
Because like the hope is that the marketplace, still continues to go up. And even if it doesn't, we're confident that, we'll be able to sell these cards back at the marketplace. Even if it's the lowest asking price, it doesn't matter. Like we can turn those into cash, which is what is needed in order to fund these programs. And so, again, it's like gifting something that, that is probably pure profit to you anyway. So the hope is that you're not going to miss it from your portfolio, but I can tell you the people in these communities, will miss it if they don't have access to PPE and vaccinations.
Yeah. And I think this is the thing that, as we're seeing all this on the news about, like, there's all the disparities between testing and PPE and vaccinations to communities of color. And you're like, oh my gosh, well, I can't do anything. I'm not the government. So let me explain something to you. Over the last year, C19 Coalition has been able to give over 1 billion units of PPE through our partners to communities that need this help the most. And every single day, there are people who still need masks, still need hand sanitizers, still need to be tested, and also need to be vaccinated. A lot of the issues around getting these things is access. Not everyone has a car. Not everyone has a smartphone. Not everyone has a phone. Right. And so what we're doing with programs and teaming with a lot of our partners, like Stop the Spread, Project N19, Get Us PPE, is to actually create experiences where you can actually go and get that PPE, where you can go ahead and get that test done, or go ahead and get vaccinated. So this stuff with your money can help people today. This is never a thing where it's going to take $10 million to make something happen. This is something where by $100,000, we'll be able to help thousands of people who need the help the most, who are on the front lines the most, because we all know who are the people who are essential workers right at this very moment, who need the most help, or also out there on the front lines at most at risk, communities of color. So that's why we thought it made great sense to do this.
Yep. And let me even put a finer point on it with some numbers. So as of a week and a half ago, there were about 43 million people that got one or more vaccine dose in America. 64% of those people were white. 8.7% Hispanic or Latino, 6.3% Black, 5% Asian, 1.7% Native American or Native of Alaska, 0.3% Native Hawaiian or a Pacific Islander, and multiracial, 13.8%. So you could see how disproportionately these distributions are happening. And in many cases, you're even seeing vaccine tourism, right? Where people are going from one zip code to another, or even one state to another, so they can get in earlier because they were able to, again, like mash the button, quick enough on their phone to snag an appointment.
They have a smartphone to go to the website and do this stuff.
That's right. That's right. And so this is, it's frankly, it's unacceptable. Right. And so we need to bring these things to these communities directly, and not rely on antiquated IT systems. Right. Because people have been volunteering and building code and bots and all kinds of things to help make this happen. But honestly, like the best way to do this is literally physically bring it to these communities. And that's why I'm proud to, to work with you and C19 Coalition, make it happen.
Awesome. So, for more information, if you want to do this, so we would love for you to, again, go to
SHOTSFORSHOTS.org.
Or like just make it happen. And if you want more information, then please reach out to us at C19, reach out to me at El Mignott, or Ian at Schafer, and like we will tell you. And it's All-Star Weekend this weekend, so we'd love for our NBA players who might be seeing this, or some owners who NBA who own teams. If you want to get in on this, this is again, impact immediately. This is the difference between anything else, is that we are about not waiting for 6 months for things to hopefully figure their way out through Congress, whatever it might be. Like, we can make an impact right this very weekend. So if you want to get involved, please reach out to us, and we hope that we can raise at least $100,000 using this campaign.
Yeah, and by the way, the reason why we want owners and players to actually contribute their shots is because there is a public ledger of who has historically owned each individual moment. So the fact when we sell those moments that were previously owned by a player or an owner on the marketplace, they're instantly going to be worth more. So please, if you're a player, if you're in the game, if you had a moment minted, for the All-Star Weekend, and you have several, right? Because people either gifted them to you, or you went out and bought them, or you got packs. We'd love to have them. And even if they're non-All-Star Weekend moments, even if they're, from prior collections, anything that's had that kind of ledger opportunity with owners or players, instantly makes our moments worth more. And obviously that helps us raise that money even more quickly.
Awesome.
No pun intended.
Ian, thank you so much. I'm super excited to partner with you on this. We're going to make this happen because, this is how we do. And we hope that folks get inspired to get involved. Anyone can sign up for a TOPSHOTS account. This is not brain surgery at all. And if you want to help out, have any questions, hit us up on all social channels. I'll be sure to happy to help out. And with that, our special interview through C19 Coalition comes to a close. So thanks very much, everybody.